Good afternoon. Welcome to this Friday forum of the City Club of Cleveland. We are in our 98th year as the longest-running free speech forum in the country. I am Don Cairns, immediate past president of the City Club Forum Foundation. Our speaker today is Jim Thomson, CEO of RAND Corporation, a nonpartisan think tank that addresses a wide variety of domestic and international issues with particular expertise in national security. RAND was founded at the end of World War II to provide ongoing, high-quality, technology-based research and development for the United States Army Air Corps. Within 3 years, it separated from the military and became an independent, nonprofit, nonpartisan organization. In the 60 years since, RAND has grown to annual revenues of more than $200 million and a staff of more than 1,600, who research a wide variety of policy issues, including national defense, health and obesity, space exploration, overseas political affairs, government problem solving, and accountability standards. RAND believes in benefiting the public good by disseminating its information and research findings as widely as possible, and more than 10,000 RAND reports and commentary are available online at rand.org. For a third of its illustrious history, more than 20 years, RAND has been led by Dr. James Thomson. Dr. Thomson, a native of Northampton, Massachusetts. Is that right? Is that in Massachusetts? New Hampshire. And I wrote down Mass. Holds a Bachelor of Science in Physics from the University of New Hampshire and both a Master's and Doctorate in Physics from Purdue University. From 77 to 81, Dr. Thomson was a member of Zbigniew Brzezinski's National Security Council staff at the Carter White House. He then joined RAND and served in a variety of roles, including Director of Research Programs in National Security, Foreign Policy, Defense Policy, and Arms Control, and later as Vice President in charge of Project Air Force. He became President and Chief Executive Officer of RAND in 1989. These are remarkable times with the incredible opportunities of global interconnectedness and the challenges they present to both our economic and defense security. However, in what could well be one of our most important City Club forums this year, Dr. Thomson will look at domestic challenges and the effects of polarization on political discourse and policy making, where decisions are increasingly driven more by ideology than objective analysis. We welcome to the City Club podium today the CEO of RAND Corporation, Dr. Jim Thomson.
Thank you very much. I'm going to show you some data from a paper I've written, but in the interest for the radio audience, I'm not going to show a lot. So those who are interested in the full story can download my recent paper from our website. That's rand.org. And my name doesn't have a P, so you can find it that way. The subject of deep partisanship and polarization in the Congress is now on almost everybody's mind. Today I hope to tell you a few things you might not have seen in the commentaries on this topic. Mainly, when did this trend start? It seems recent, but it's not. Second, what are the sources of polarization? Third, what political issues does it encompass? And finally, what are the consequences for doing the people's business? I've been in the public policy analysis business in one form or another for over 90% of my professional life. Most of this experience has been focused on Washington, D.C. It seems to me that over these 35 years, Washington has become a less analytical and more ideological place. I have felt this trend more in domestic policy than in national security, but the latter has not been immune to this trend either. Certainly, ideology should play a role in public policy decisions, but I would hope that decision makers would like first to get facts on the table and then apply their political skill, which will certainly include their worldview, to make a decision. This is what I feel we have been seeing less and less of over the past 3.5 decades. At RAND, we're essentially in the what works business. We help policy and decision makers determine the policies, programs, practices, processes that will get the desired outcome at the lowest cost. I think we've established that our analysis is credible and not ideologically driven. But if some policies are simply off limits for ideological reasons, then we at RAND are going to have a problem. If our analysis finds that off-limits policies are effective or that within-limits policies are not, we can sometimes generate significant anger from groups that want those policies off or within limits. I've noticed that it's easier to make people angry than happy, at least when it comes to public policy. I'm going to show you some data about polarization, but before getting into that, it's worth recalling how the Founding Fathers thought about the political process in Congress. The anti-federalist opponents of the Constitution argued that intense polarization would shatter the new republic. In Federalist 10, James Madison countered that the republic would refine and enlarge the public views by passing them through a medium of a chosen body of citizens whose wisdom may best discern the true interest of their country. The Federalists opposed the right to instruct, that is, the right to allow constituents to instruct their representatives on how to vote, on grounds that it would eliminate broad consultation among representatives, deliberation, and compromise. They prevailed. In short, the Federalists believed that Congress would be a deliberative body, and the Anti-Federalists thought it would be a house divided against itself, as argued Cato, the pseudonym for a prominent opponent of the Constitution. It certainly feels like a house divided today. But to answer the questions I posed at the beginning, we need a measure. The gold standard measuring system for political ideology was devised by two political scientists, Keith Poole, now at the University of California, San Diego, and Howard Rosenthal at New York University. They called this the DW Nominate score. I won't go into the methodology underlying DW Nominate in any detail now, although some additional information is in my paper. But you need to know three key points. It's a study of all roll call votes in the Senate and the House since the beginning of the Republic, 1789, except for those that were unanimous or nearly unanimous. There have been about 100,000 such votes. For each biennial Congress, DW Nominate positions each member on a minus-plus scale across n dimensions. Now I'm sounding very mathematical here. One uses as many dimensions as one needs in order to get a good fit of the data. Now it's even more mathematical. But when I say dimension, I'm referring to a political philosophy. For example, states' rights that might be affecting a vote in the Congress. It turns out that only two dimensions, or political forces, are needed to describe voting for most of American history. And since about 1970, one dimension has been sufficient. Across history, from the Hamilton-Jefferson era to the present, that first dimension has been about economics, specifically about the role of the state in the economy. The second dimension has mostly been concerned with regional divisions, for example, over slavery. Third, the method permits comparisons of individuals and of parties across time. It's possible to observe the political journey of a group, such as Southern Democrats, or of an individual member, such as Wayne Morse, who traveled from the center to the far left over his career. But it turns out there have been very few members who make a journey like his. The scores for most members on this first dimension change little during their careers. With those points in mind, I'm going to show you some results. So let's go to figure 1 here.